President Donald Trump is moving forward with a bold plan to establish a crypto strategic reserve mirroring traditional US reserves of gold and oil. However, the proposal has sparked frustration among some supporters who express concern over the inclusion of riskier cryptocurrency tokens. Critics argue the initiative could primarily benefit a select group of investors, raising ethical questions about potential conflicts of interest. Meanwhile, the announcement's already caused a significant surge in crypto prices. Joining us now from Melbourne to discuss is Chris Berg from RMIT University. Great to have you back on Ticker.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's first talk. What is Trump's proposal for a crypto strategic reserve?
So Trump's proposal was originally that he was going to invest, the US government was going to invest in a crypto asset, or specifically a Bitcoin asset reserve. The idea there would be that the US government would be able to take advantage of the long run price increase in Bitcoin. Since then, he's actually announced that the asset reserve would hold a lot more than just Bitcoin. It would hold a range of crypto assets, some of which are highly reputable, some of which are somewhat less reputable, but this is obviously a way for him to sort of support the crypto industry and support many of the people who came out to vote for Trump and the Republicans in the last election.
Now, there are some who say that this could actually derail Trump's second term because it could lead to many investigations about crypto. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, look, frankly, I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake from a public policy perspective. I don't think the government should be making bets on particular assets. It shouldn't be making these sort of speculative bets. I can make speculative bets, you can make speculative bets, but I don't think we should do so with taxpayers' money. I also worry what this would do for the crypto industry. Particularly, it will get it even more enmeshed in politics, which frankly is not the vision of cryptocurrency. The vision of cryptocurrency is to get money out of the hands of the state, not cryptocurrency into the hands of the state.
Talk to us about how the strategic crypto reserve actually differs from traditional reserves like oil and gold. What's the difference?
Look, it's a really good question, and frankly, the Trump administration has underexplained why it's doing it. So they might think that, well, it's like holding gold reserves, but governments don't really hold gold reserves for particular reasons anymore. The US government holds a lot of gold at Fort Knox just for purely historical reasons. Then the other countries hold reserves of foreign exchange in order to trade that and keep their own fiat currency stable. But again, I don't think the crypto industry would be excited if the US government was actively trading cryptocurrency. They would like the US government to hold for the long term that cryptocurrency. So I think a big part of the problem with this proposal is that it is under rationalized, it is under justified, and I think we'll need to learn a lot more about it to be excited.
And that is the thing that we're looking forward to at the Oval Office and at the White House, is understanding a bit more of it. It feels like the idea for this kind of came up with a Joe Rogan kind of podcast style, that bro squad of podcasters that we hear about. The ones who feel like they all missed out on property. I'm sure some of these podcasters own some pretty good property. But the idea was for Trump's younger supporters who haven't been able to get into the property sector, crypto is an investment that they can understand, that they can hang on to and be at the start of, rather than coming along too late, like property, as I say. But some of Trump's own supporters in the crypto industry are also concerned about the proposal.
Yeah, absolutely they are. So I think your diagnosis is correct. I think cryptocurrency is a really interesting asset. I'm really passionate about it, but at the same time, it meets a need amongst younger voters and consumers who have really struggled to get into traditional financial markets for often regulatory reasons. But yes, there are many people in the crypto industry that are concerned about this, just on the grounds that I've shared. Really, the fact that this is under-rationalized, it's obviously a sop to the crypto industry, but it's not really where we think the direction of the crypto industry should be going. We want to build this technology out so that it makes people more free, more capable of living independent financial lives. It's not just a way for the government to buy up assets.
What could it do to markets?
So it has done some stuff to markets already. So at the moment, when it was announced, or when every time it's been announced a couple of times, it's tended to lead to a price rise. But subsequently, the price has fallen back down again. A lot of people would like the US government to be a buyer of their assets. But I don't think anybody believes that's a long-term strategy for price appreciation. What we really need is adoption from retail and institutional investors, not some political move to bump the price up.
I'm just reading here from one investor. This is a guy named Jason Calacanis, who co-hosts a podcast with Donald Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs. He's warned that the use of taxpayer funds, as you're saying, essentially to pump up the digital tokens will lead to disaster. His quote is, "It's a terrible idea to spend taxpayer money buying the crypto bags of the people who donated many millions to him." That there is a point about the investigations, right, that could happen because of a proposed conflict of interest. Let's not forget that Trump has a meme coin. There's also a Melania coin that impacted the price of the Trump meme coin as well. But serious investors, they don't really get involved in meme coins. But what's your view of all this?
The president has to be involved in the industries that he is interested in, and the president also needs to understand the sorts of technologies that his government is proposing to regulate or regulate less than the previous government. So I don't think it's as big a challenge as many people do, but it's certainly something to watch.
So talk to us about which cryptocurrencies that Trump is mentioning in the announcement, because you spoke about how it started off as essentially a Bitcoin reserve, and Bitcoin is the one that people say, all right, that seems to be a lot of understanding. But now there are others. We know that Elon Musk has always been behind Dogecoin as well. Is that where the problem lies? Would you have supported this reserve had it have just been about Bitcoin?
I don't think I would have supported the reserve if it was just Bitcoin, because I don't think the government should be making bets on any particular asset. But there are a wide range of assets now being proposed. So, for example, Ethereum, which is one of the largest smart contract platform and the basis of a lot of decentralized finance, that's proposed to be in there. There's other assets like Solana, Ripple's XRP asset, another asset called Cardano. There's a lot of potential assets that could be put in. Now, these were just the ones that Donald Trump mentioned on social media. There could also be in the future Dogecoin and so forth. And then if we go down that path, it looks like the government is just making speculative bets on a portfolio of assets. Again, I don't think that's a great idea. I don't think it's a very good idea, particularly for the United States, that is running massive deficits and needs to be cutting its spending, not making new investments. And then once it's cut its spending and hopefully gets back to surplus, it should be remitting that money back to American taxpayers in tax cuts, not in further speculative crypto investments.
It seems funny, doesn't it? Because the whole idea and purpose of Doge that Elon Musk is behind is the idea of just what you're saying, cutting ridiculous spending and then putting it back on the debt to try and get that debt down. But this goes very much different to that, pretty much in an opposite direction, as you're saying. That is politics, though. I'm interested in the Australian government, because the plans, do they or do they not have plans to follow what the US is doing?
Well, this week, the Australian government has explicitly rejected the idea of having its own crypto asset reserve, which I think is a good thing. To be honest, I think both the Australian and the United States government should be focusing on other things for the crypto industry. And the Australian government is promising to do some regulatory reform that we hope will make it easier to operate a crypto-based business in Australia, make it easier to be regulated, make the regulations much less uncertain than they are. And I think that's also what the US government should be doing. It's actually heading in that direction. And I worry from the crypto industry's perspective that this crypto asset reserve is a big political distraction. It's actually quite dangerous for the industry if we focus on trying to beg governments to buy our assets rather than clarifying regulatory uncertainty, which is what the industry has been begging for the last decade.
Now, as you mentioned, a spokesperson for the Australian Assistant Treasurer and the Financial Services Minister, Stephen Jones, was asked about this by Cointelegraph. The government said, according to this spokesperson, is focused on regulating the digital asset platforms, as you say. Is there a risk there? Because whenever Australian governments get involved in regulation, it doesn't usually make it freer.
No, that is a really big difficulty, and there are signs. There are some signs that are of some worry, and some signs that that are more supportive of the industry. Generally speaking, though, the problem with crypto regulation at the moment is not that it is too regulated or is not regulated enough. It's that the regulations that actually apply are incredibly unclear. They're uncertain because it's such a new technology. So I've always said, in the situation that we're in, where it's so uncertain that people don't know what the rules are, so they find it hard to establish businesses at all, let's get some clarity over the regulations on the books, and then we can debate whether that regulation is too much or too little. I think it's more important right now to clear up regulatory uncertainty so that we know what the situation is for businesses operating in Australia. That's true in the United States as well, and I know that the Trump administration is doing good work in that area. And it's true really around the world, where there are various degrees of regulatory uncertainty that just need to be cleared up for this industry to thrive.
Chris Berg from RMIT University, appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.